What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 5 of the Fallen for Film podcast. We're already at episode 5. That is just unbelievable to me. But thank you guys so much for watching this podcast. You're getting on in and subscribing and watching every single episode. We appreciate every single one of you for watching. And we have a very exciting episode in store for you guys today. We got another special guest joining us. But before we get to that special guest, I got to introduce my co-host, my pal, Colin Williams. Colin, how you doing in this quarantine week 7 or 8 or 10,000?
I just counted the other day. It is 10,000. You're correct, Ryan. But dude, I'm doing good. I'm chilling. I guess I'm working from home. It's the weekend. Making some videos. I got a lot of video. Like that's what's cool about this. The only good thing about this, not going to movie theaters and having to do a movie review every single week is I can be creative and create some new, interesting content. So that's coming very soon. But to answer your question, I'm doing good, man.
Great. That's great. Anyway, that's the end of the show, guys. I'm just kidding. As I said, we have another. As I said, guys, we have another great, exciting episode for you guys today. Lots of exciting movie news to go over, and we have a special guest, Colin. We have another special guest. As you saw in episode 3,
Who might he be?
We had Durbin from Durbania. He was our first guest. Now our second guest is a man who you do not know. He's a very mysterious man. He came out of nowhere. We found him in the middle of the street just chewing on some Mars bars. But anyway, I'm kidding. You guys should know who this man is. That is Jared Buckendahl, one of my great friends here on YouTube. One of the funniest guys I've seen in this YouTube platform. You need to check him out. He's excited to join us today. And Jared, how you doing, man?
Woo! What's going on, everyone? You two, everyone that's listening to the podcast, they are giving me adjectives that do not describe myself. Special, man, those are not two things that people say when they refer to me.
Yeah.
But the Mars bar, you got that right.
Mars bar, great. Jared, we're super excited to have you on the podcast, man, and we're just excited to talk about all these movie news that we have in store. But before we do, let's just talk about what we're doing in our lives during the quarantine. Jared, this is your first time meeting Colin.
Yes.
So, Jared, talk a bit about yourself and what you're doing during this quarantine.
Oh, man, you're putting me on the spot. One, I will say thank you, both of you, for inviting me over. This is an honor for sure. But kind of what's going on, obviously, we talked about it a little bit before, but there's a lot of extra time on everyone's plates, I would say. So just kind of, creating a little bit more, doing some weird things, trying things out. But other than that, aside from like movie stuff, I am one of those unfortunate few that does not have a job currently. I'm furloughed, so I have even more time. So it's kind of this weird thing where I'll wake up and I'll be like super motivated. Let's create something, and just all day for like 16 hours, I'm just doing stuff. But then there's those days I wake up and I am like, I don't want to do any of this. Life is just dreadful. So it's very much a toss-up.
Yeah. That's a toss-up. And like you said, there's lots of people that are out of jobs right now and people that are essential employees, which I'm an essential employee. So I'm working full-time right now. I'm a hero, an essential employee working at a grocery store. It's tough for those people that aren't working right now. I feel for you, man. But hey, you're still putting content out when you want to, and I respect that, man.
Absolutely.
Anyway, Colin, what have you been doing? I know you're out of a job as well. You're creating a lot, doing stuff with your channel. What have you released recently to your channel? Maybe the viewers should know about.
Well, I am out of work in the sense that I'm not going to work, but I still am working from home, which is nice. I work in the education world, so that is, educating your youth. That's kind of really important. So I would call that somewhat essential. So I'm doing that. So that's been kind of crazy week to week, calling parents, calling kids and stuff like that. Well, on my channel, I recently, by the time this podcast drops, I got the top 5 streaming services that I use ranked. So I did that video. That was a lot of fun to make. And then before that, kind of sticking with the streaming services ranked, I did the top 10 things you can watch on Netflix while quarantine, on Hulu while quarantine, on Amazon Prime while quarantined, and then on Disney Plus while quarantined. So I did a lot of videos. I also did a video with Sean Chandler, Drive versus Baby Driver. So that was a lot of fun. So doing a lot of more experimental stuff. I'm going to be doing the my favorite movies of all time list. Ryan, you inspired me to do that. You did your top 30 of all time. I texted you after. So yeah, that was like such a fun video to make, and I actually just made my list. I won't give you my letterbox so to not spoil it, but it was a lot of it was a lot of fun coming up with the list. I shuffled it around like a million times. I'd be like, do I like that movie more than this one? Oh no, I don't. Oh yes, I do.
Yeah.
So the video is probably not gonna have the right answer, but who cares? It's still in like my top movies of all time. But just chilling, man, watching movies, working, and doing what I love to do. And now I'm recording a podcast, so living the dream. Living the dream.
Living the dream. I can't take the credit. I actually got inspired by Austin Burke to do the top 30 movies of all time video. So yeah, I uploaded that. I'm sure you guys know about that. If you're watching, the viewers at home want to know what my favorite movies of all time are, because I get so many questions from new subscribers. What's your favorite movie of all time and all that? And I'll tell them from now on. Uploaded a video. I did 30 favorite movies.
And I will say this too. I did my first live stream the other day, and that was so fun. Dude,
it was so fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like live streams are the best.
Like I didn't. Yeah, I was talking to people I didn't even know were fans of mine. They'd comment on some of my videos, but I'd see people like, oh, I've never met you before. You know what I mean? Asking me really cool questions, like really really awesome stuff. And then Ryan, you got to hang out for a little bit. Durbin came on. Yeah. So Jaren Talks Movies joined. So it was a really fun time.
Yeah, I love live stream. I love popping into people's live streams. I popped into Jared's movie trivia thing. So I just love to support my friends and all that, and live streaming because there's nothing else better to do. So also dropped today my ranking of all the Game of Thrones seasons. Wanted to do that while we were in this quarantine.
Wow, that is a time commitment right there.
Yeah, many people have been asking me, why didn't you rank the seasons of Game of Thrones? I watched the show for the first time when it ended last year. And so now that we have this quarantined, I uploaded that for everybody. If you're curious watching this podcast, guys, you can go check that out on my channel. Jared, do you have any content that you uploaded recently?
I mean, obviously, as we know, everyone knows the movie theaters are closed, so it's a lot of Netflix movies. I mean, I'm kind of going out of the box. It's a lot of subtitled or foreign films. I just watched one right before we started recording this. It was a French dubbed kind of action thriller, a quick 80-minute run, and I was pleasantly surprised by that one. That one is called Earth and Blood. But yeah, kind of just exploring a little bit more of what the platform Netflix has to offer. Believe me, I don't know if you guys are on it much, but there is a lot of crap. So it's very much sifting through that crap to find that gem.
Jared, you go ahead, Ryan.
I said you and Austin Burke, you always hit us up with the Netflix stuff. So
good job, Jared. He is the king of streaming platform. I've never talked to him, and I want to know if he sleeps.
Jared, no. Jared sleeps Netflix.
That's the episode title. Yeah, that's what we do, Jared. We come up with episode titles while on the podcast.
Oh yeah, that's what I like.
I will say, Jared. I will say this though. You mentioned a French film. It's one that's on Hulu. It was one of my favorites of last year. I guess I saw it in 2020, but it's a 2019 release. Is Portrait of a Lady on Fire. That's a French movie.
Oh yeah, that was on my to watch list, and then something came up, so I will add it back to my watch list.
Yeah, same.
Dude, it's so good, bro. It's so good, so good.
Yeah, same for me. Anyway, let's just get right into the podcast, boys, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. But anyway, if you guys are tuning on in and you're new viewers and you're wondering where you can find us on all the podcast platforms, you can find us on Spotify, Google Play, and iTunes. That's where you can find us other than YouTube. Go follow us over there. Go rate us. Please, we would love you to rate us. Anyway, let's get right into the movie news, boys. So, let's talk about Doctor Strange 2. We got some confirmation news that Sam Raimi, who has been heavily rumored to be the director of that film, Sam Raimi himself has confirmed that he will be directing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So this was very high praise news. Everyone's been talking about it. I love this cast, this directing choice right here. And Jared, since you're our guest, I would love to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, again, I am not a big horror fan, but the Sam Raimi name I am familiar with. Obviously, he did the Spider-Mans in the early 2000s, but I am very much on board for this. I am very excited because what we had originally heard about Doctor Strange was it's going to be like a straight up horror film. Then they kind of backed it a little bit. They said there's going to be horror influences. And with him in the driver's seat, we're going to get some. I mean, maybe if he has limitations, he's going to find creative ways to get around that and make it very creepy and unsettling. And I think also some people, I mean, it keeps popping up, and who knows if it's fan casting, but he is very familiar, or he works well with Bruce Campbell. And if he brings him on in any sort of capacity, I am again on board. And I believe, I mean, you guys can fill me in, but is Doctor Strange, is this one kind of opening up the next 10 years of the MCU?
I'm pretty sure it will. I'm pretty sure it will with the multiverse. Absolutely. Absolutely. Colin, I know we're huge MCU fans. We were talking a lot about this and with Doctor Strange and the sequel. What are your thoughts overall? Have you seen the Evil Dead trilogy with Sam Raimi?
No, I have not seen the Evil Dead trilogy.
With Spider-Man?
I'm not. Yeah, like. Yeah. Same with Jared. I'm not the biggest horror fan. I've been kind of flirting with the genre as of late with some later films later this like the last decade and stuff, and then going into this one. So, but I mean, I was kind of upset with Marvel a little bit when the whole Scott Derrickson him leaving the project thing happened, because it kind of made him look a little suspect. It was like, oh, you guys said you're gonna do a horror movie, and like that sounds a little risky for a Disney to do. It's like, oh, are they really gonna do horror? And then the director Scott Derrickson leaves. You're like, dang, they're not gonna do horror, are they? And then they hired Sam Raimi. You're like, oh, okay, maybe they were. They're just having different creative differences with Scott Derrickson, or maybe they wanted someone to maybe go a little lighter on the tone or something like that. But with Sam Raimi, like Scott Derrickson, I mean, I like the work he did with Doctor Strange, but like if you're gonna pick a guy to do a comic book movie and it's to replace somebody else, I mean, like that's kind of something you don't want to hear with like a studio's like, oh, they have creative decisions, but that they're disagreeing with the director and the studio. But Sam Raimi, he's kind of like the guy, man. That's like the guy you pick to do something like this, and he's like he wrote like kind of the formula for what a great comic book movie can be back in 2002 with the first Spider-Man. So it's like it's kind of dope, honestly. I love Sam Raimi. I love what he did with the Spider-Man trilogy. So I'm really excited, more than I would have been with Scott Derrickson to direct Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah. Sam Raimi's a fantastic choice. Love what he did with the Spider-Man trilogy. With Spider-Man 3, I would have loved to see his take on the film, because obviously studio interference with Sony got in the way of that film. He didn't want Venom to be in that movie, but Venom was forced in. And so Eddie, I want a lobster, Eddie. He didn't
Topher Grace, man.
Topher Grace. He didn't really have his creative voice in that film, but I feel with Doctor Strange, he's going to get a lot of his own voice being told. And with horror, this is going to be like a horror film from the MCU. I think Sam Raimi is a perfect choice. Perfect choice. So I'm loving what they're doing so far with the multiverse. They're adding it in. Scarlet Witch is going to be in it as well. And I'm just looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with that film. So
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, like that is the dopest title ever, dude.
Oh yeah, and
you said Thor: Love and Thunder was the dopest.
Hey, that one's good too.
See, that's the thing is like I'm very much looking forward to this next phase, because they're like, we can name these whatever we want and people are gonna show up. Like these are straight up kooky, bonkers, weird video game titles.
Yeah, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Like that sounds like a child's book or something.
Oh, that is 100% NES game from the 90s.
Yeah, the Eternals as well. It's just really cool titles, you know. I'm excited to see what they do for Phase 4 as well as the Disney Plus shows that hopefully won't get delayed, but they probably will.
One thing before we jump off to the next topic, I'm curious. Since it's Sam Raimi, since he did the first Spider-Man, would you, and I don't know if this is even possible, would you want the other Spider-Man to somehow make a cameo?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Oh,
a
With
dumb question
100%.
because I feel
I
like we
think
both,
Toby's
yeah.
my guy, bro.
yeah, I feel Toby would do it. I feel Toby Maguire would do something like that. I don't know about Andrew Garfield though. We'll have
Well,
to see.
and we forget in Spider-Man 2, there's a Doctor Strange reference.
Hmm.
Yep, I
In
know. I
Spider-Man
did
2.
know
He's
that. I did know
yeah,
that. I told my
he
coworkers that.
yeah,
And they're like,
yeah.
oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's like, what about Doctor Strange? And he's like, oh, it's great, but it's
But it's
taken. Oh my
taken.
God, it's
This was
so
meant to be.
good.
This was meant to be. He was going to direct a
Oh,
Doctor
it
Strange.
was 100%.
Yeah. They Kevin Feige, someone probably saw Spider-Man 2 like Sam Raimi. There we go. Um, but anyway, I think this is fantastic directing choice. And I felt like the first Doctor Strange is one of the more overrated MCU films. Scott Derrickson,
Boo.
he's a good director, but I just didn't love, the humor in most of that film. But with Doctor Strange 2, I'm looking forward to more of the horror elements explored in here and the multiverse as well, because Far From Home really set up the multiverse idea, and it seems like it's going to expand with this sequel. So, very exciting news. All right, so now, boys, let's talk about a trailer that actually just dropped that is coming straight to video on demand on May 12th, and it's starring Tom Hardy, Venom, Eddie, and it is
Venom 2 trailer?
Venom 2 is coming to on demand
Oh
on
my God, let's go.
May
Let's go. Venom 2 trailer. Let's
12th.
go.
I can't wait. But anyway, it's actually Capone. That's what the movie is called, and Tom Hardy is playing Al Capone. Jared just watched this trailer before we went on air. Jared, I want to get your quick thoughts on this trailer.
I'm fresh off my reaction. I don't know
Fresh?
how to do reactions anymore, but I'm fresh off of it. Um, this movie looks like it would go to VOD. Not to be rude or anything, but again, I had heard about this over the last few years. It's from Josh Trank. They actually just changed the name from Fonzo to Capone, which Fonzo is a horrible marketing name because I don't even know. You would have to know who Capone is to understand that name. But again, watching this, I'm getting references of almost or familiarity to Irishman, where it's an old guy. He's in the later parts of his life, and then it's going to, I'm assuming, be flashbacks to his quote unquote glory days. And I know that it's going to be an interesting take on the character because, he had dementia and all of this stuff in the later portions of his life, but I don't know. The fact it's going to VOD, the fact that the makeup we talked about earlier looks like Johnny Depp from Black Mass.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. What about, I mean, I'm probably gonna check it out, but I'm not looking forward to it, I guess.
Yeah, I'm in the same ballpark. I actually watched the trailer today to prepare. It looks like an on-demand movie, like you said, Jared. I also was really let down by Black Mass, me being from Boston area and Whitey Bulger just hearing all that, and Johnny Depp was fantastic in that film, but he was just in a very snooze fest film, and so I'm really hoping this film is not a snooze fest, and it looks like it's going in that on-demand type of movie route. But anyway, since there's no major movies coming out, so I'll definitely check this out and review it. Colin, what were your thoughts on the trailer, man?
Uh-oh, you fell asleep.
Oh, snooze fest, man, snooze fest.
Yeah,
Well,
Colin having a snooze fest. I don't
Colin
know.
falls asleep. That's tough. So I did. This movie just looks bland and like an attempt for. And I feel bad for Tom Hardy because he's like, oh, maybe I could really not put a mask on and have really dive deep into like a character study. I could be really wacky and over the top and be like this drug lord type guy, like gangster, kind of like what you guys were alluding to with like Black Mass or something like that, like a Pablo Escobar esque story or something. Like, and then it just becomes a really bland film, directed by Josh Trank, which we all know did he did fantastic Fan Four Stick, and had a total meltdown during that whole production. Was tweeting that the movie was terrible and stuff. So I feel
he
bad for
wasn't
him. It seems like
wrong.
every
Yeah.
yeah, he was. Yeah, he's not wrong, but I feel bad for him. It's like every movie he gets into is like turns into a train wreck. I mean, they're changing the name of the movie a month before the date it comes out, and then
Yeah.
they drop it to VOD. And so really odd stuff here. Speaking of Black Mask, Ryan, you mentioned you didn't like it. I enjoyed the film. I definitely had my flaws with it, but I would give it a positive score or anything like that. But fun fact, the other day, actually, well, not the other day, like probably a couple like a month or two ago, I got Black Mass, The Departed, and Argo in like a Blu-ray bundle for $5. That's it.
Wow.
Dude. That's like the best news. Like, oh, that I got to say right now.
That's awesome. Can I have it?
No, you can't. Even though you're from Boston, you don't get the discount.
Please, sir, can I have the movie?
Pack your card, fucking have it, yad.
You know I
No,
don't
that's
speak
good.
Spanish.
Yeah. Anyway, my terrible Boston accent. But anyway, so yeah, this
Boston accent sucks, man.
I know, right? Boston people dislike this video. Anyway, so that's our thoughts on the Capone trailer. Nothing really to say. It just looks Okay. Anyway, guys, let's go to our next piece of movie news. Let's talk about some movie delays, gentlemen. And we just got some news that Pixar's Soul, my most anticipated animated film this year, Soul has been delayed, which I was expecting. It's going to November 20th this year, 2020. And Disney's animated film Raya and the Last Dragon is being moved to next year, March 12th, 2021. So very obvious delays I knew were coming. Soul was coming up most recently in June. Pretty much anything from June till now was going to get pushed back regardless. And Raya was supposed to come out the same week as No Time to Die. So yeah, smart move to move it. So I wanted to get your take, gentlemen. Jared, your thoughts on these delays, Soul, Raya, and The Last Dragon? Thoughts on those films, anticipation, whatever?
I mean, it's obvious. I mean, we knew it was going to happen. I guess that was known. It sucks because we're gonna have to wait even longer to see a movie. Like I watched the trailer. I remember my trailer reaction, and I was in tears. So I can only imagine what the actual full length movie is going to do to me. But with it coming out in November, November 20th, that's probably a better spot for it because that's Thanksgiving time. Everyone goes to the movies over that time. I think that it's not going to do better. It's not going to do worse. I think it's going to do the same, but it's a good spot to move it to. The Raya and the Last Dragon. Do you not think it's a good spot to put it?
Wait, hang on. I just gotta check a release date. Hang on, you can keep talking.
Okay, yeah. The Raya and the Last Dragon. I mean, we haven't even seen anything from it. I think maybe some concept art, but
I think I think Aquafina was the star of that.
Okay. I mean, I'm excited for it either way, but Soul moving, I don't think it's a huge problem. Obviously, it's better than throwing it on VOD because I feel like they have more faith in this film than they really did with Onward.
Onward, yeah. I think a lot of people are saying the same thing about Soul. I don't think it's gonna do that amazing in the box office. Pretty much, people once those theaters do open up, the question is, how well are these movies gonna do box office wise? They're not gonna make lots of money because I'm sure people are still gonna be nervous going to the theaters and stuff. But I think November, it's a solid release for Soul. I am worried though, because week after that is No Time to Die. No Time to Die is November 25th, and Soul is November 20th. So,
But also, I mean, I guess looking at it, are you taking 7-year-olds to No Time to Die?
nah, yeah, you got a point there, but it's fine. November is a fine release for it, and I'm looking forward to it regardless. Colin, I know you're a huge Pixar fan, and I'm pretty sure you were expecting these delays to happen as well. Were you looking forward to Raya and the Last Dragon as well? Just curious to hear your thoughts.
Well, as far as I'll hit on Soul at first. Soul is a movie I kind of slept on going into 2020 because I was like, Onward was the film coming first. It had Tom Holland, it had Chris Pratt, so we saw some more marketing with that, and I was like, okay, like that's probably the more excited film that I am for Pixar. Then you see the trailer for Soul, especially the second one. It just looks kind of like a mind F, you know what I mean? It just looks
Mind F
like
version of
yeah.
Inside Out.
Yeah.
It looks just like kind of inside out-ish, but even
Uncut
more
gems in
adult.
animation.
Yeah. Looks really cool. I like the animation obviously looks absolutely beautiful. Raya and the what is it
Last
called?
Dragon.
The
Last
The
Dragon.
Last Dragon. I don't know much about that project whatsoever. But as far as the November release date, I'm kind of with Jared. I think if it wherever it's kind of going to be where it was versus where it's going to be in November, I don't think that you're going to see too heavy of a drop off. Of course, that's pending how crazy this whole pandemic lasts and stuff like that. So just we're waiting on that obviously. But as far as November, I think that's actually a pretty solid release date, even with No Time to Die there, because I think different audiences are gonna go to those films and stuff like that. So, and plus,
Yeah.
what we're seeing a lot of times is a lot of times people see movies that week. So, like, let's say Soul comes out a week before No Time to Die, or vice versa. Usually, they see Soul opening weekend. A lot of people are seeing things opening weekend more than they ever were before. So you don't
Yeah.
see a lot of these films coming out in the same month competing as much. It's more just that same weekend. Whereas like usually a lot of people that want to see Soul will see it that opening weekend. People that want to see No Time to Die will see it the opening weekend, and it'll come out, and we should be okay. And with that being two different kind of audiences, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah. I hope Fandango does an early access screening for Soul.
They typically
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, with Onward they did. I'm wondering,
Yeah,
yeah, curious.
yeah. I'm curious to see what they do for that. That'll be awesome. Especially with November, it's going to be a stacked month. Thanksgiving week's going to be packed with Bond. So
That's
I'm
the
bit.
fun that's the funny thing is like when we're all talking about these new release dates and everything, we don't realize, and again, you don't have to see every movie, but we're gonna be busy.
We're going to be busy. Yeah, we're not busy now, doing nothing. But once fall comes out, that's the new summer movie season. Busy content nonstop. I can't wait for that. Can't wait for that. So anyway, that's the newest piece of news that dropped a few days ago. Soul has now been pushed back to November 20th, 2020, and Raya and the Last Dragon has been moved to next year, March 12th, 2021. So anyway, boys, now we could talk about the biggest movie news discussions I've been waiting to talk about with you guys. As soon as I got this, I was like, add to the docket. Can't wait to talk about this. So now, boys, let's talk about the Dune photos that were just released.
Dune.
Dune. Dune is my most anticipated film this year. I think it will keep its release date. I think December's a nice safe bet for it staying Dune. Anyway, we got some new photos that were just dropped a few days ago. The first photo that dropped was Timothy Chalamet, basically in his Kylo Ren costume on the beach and just walking. And then another set of photos with Zendaya and Oscar Isaac looking sexy, and Jason Momoa, and just some really cool photos for Dune. Colin, let's start with you, man. What are your thoughts on these photos?
Dude, it looks so sick, bro. It looks so sick. It looks so good. It looks so frick. Dude, first of all, Denis Villeneuve is, if he's not one of the best directors working today, I don't know who is. So exciting the way he just brings that Denis Villeneuve flair to it that's very stylized, but also he has like these wacky, like over the top premise, like with Blade Runner 2049 or Arrival, but they feel so grounded at the same point. And then you have something like Prisoners that's just very, very grounded, but then has a unique spin on it as well. And then Dune. is just like the cast. Oh my God, you got Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Oscar Isaac. Like I'm already, I've there's more than people I can even list on this the whole thing. It's such a great cast, and the pictures just looked like a very unique movie. Like you can't not look at these pictures and say I want to see this movie. It looks so, and it looks weird enough to where it's like, okay, that's a cool little sci-fi, but it also looks kind of grounded in a sense. It doesn't look over the top or wacky or kind of cheesy, like a made for TV movie or something like that, like a CW type thing. It's got like a kind of a wacky costumes, but looks really sick at the same time. Looks like the cinematography is going to be awesome. And dude, I'm just really excited about this. And I know Blade Runner 2049 didn't do great financially, but I have a good feeling about Dune. I have a good feeling about Dune. I think people are going to be excited about it. Denis Villeneuve has some serious clout now that he's got a bunch of great movies, a killer cast with some up and coming actors. Dune is going to be a hit. Mark my words on the podcast, and an Oscar contender too. With a December release date, that's Oscar bait right there.
Yes, Oscar bait right there for Dune. Anyway, Jared, I know you talked about this on your podcast, but give us your thoughts on these photos.
Yeah, these came out. They're flippin' amazing. Again, Denis Villeneuve, his films look incredible. Again, Blade Runner 2049 did not do what they wanted, but it does look flippin' amazing. And these photos, if they're any ounce of what the final product is going to look like, this is going to be a gorgeous film. Obviously, cinematography 100%. And the two pictures that really stood out to me were Josh Brolin and Oscar Isaac, because they're wearing like this armor that very much resembles almost like medieval type armor, but it's in space, it's sci-fi, it's a little bit skewing towards that sci-fi angle. And that's what really drew me in, is just the weird things that are going to be in this movie. I don't know if either of you had dabbled in the 84 movie. I tried to watch it and it just wasn't my thing. Maybe I need to give it another try. I will say I'm curious about this film. I said that it looks amazing. I don't know financially how well it's going to do. It depends, Colin, kind of what you said, is if they steer enough into sci-fi but keep it grounded so essentially the casual fan can get into it. Because if they go, from what I've heard about these books, if they go too in-depth about all of the little tiny things in this world, it might turn off a lot of people.
100% agree. I think this film has, yeah, I think this film has a chance to really kill its, like, do a really good job with marketing and getting ahead of the game and establishing its own identity as a grounded Star Wars-esque but still kind of nerdy-ish sci-fi film that the audiences will love, and then the lovers of the book and the source material and that genre will love. And yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I just
no, that was great that you jumped in there. I will say, yeah, if it's consumable for the casual fan, this will set off like a 10-year franchise type thing, which I hope, because what else? What's in the next book? What other weird shit can they get into, you know?
Yes, I agree with everything that you guys just said. I love the look of these photos. The way that they're getting the marketing game started. They're starting the game really well. Oscar Isaac, he looks the best out of all these photos. I love the armor him and Josh Brolin have on, and Jason Momoa as well, with that little sphere he has in like a little position, and Zendaya as well. Just all these photos look great. The costumes look fantastic. Chalamet, in that Kylo Ren looking costume, looks awesome. And Denis Villeneuve, he's a very smart filmmaker. I'm pretty sure he has a game plan set for this film and how they're going to market it, how they're going to release this film that's going to appeal to a wider audience. If people, love that original 84 film, I haven't seen that film yet with David Lynch, or people that are fans of the books. And I could definitely agree with you, Jared. This looks like it could be like a Lord of the Rings Star Wars franchise within the next decade, which I really hope happens. I want this movie financially to do really well. And I do think it'll do well. in the financial box office, and I just want this film like right now.
Give me some weird worlds, some weird vehicles, weapons, creatures, like, ease me into it. But then once I'm in, give me everything that's weird about this world.
How
Yeah.
awesome if this became like the next like dope franchise for us to watch, like the next like big thing. I just have a feeling about this movie. I don't know what it is, but I'm like pulling for it so hard to be a success financially and just a great movie so that we can get that next like awesome
Yeah.
Star Wars MCU level franchise that we can watch and wait for, like be pumped to watch this type of films, dude. I'm pumped.
Oh yeah, Colin, you are 100% right because I mean, even if we just break it down by all of the ingredients, you have Denis Villeneuve, you have Hans Zimmer, you have the amazing cast, you have this wealth of lore that is sworn by the fans to be amazing. Like that's the thing is you have all of these ingredients, just do it.
Kind of Lord of the Rings esque too, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings meets Star Wars. Just do it like that, and I think you're in for success.
Be
In for
an epic
success.
fantasy film, and it'll work, man.
It'll work. It'll work. Anyway, guys, so Dune, I am super excited for that film, and I really hope that it does really well, so we can get a nice franchise like an MCU. So, anyway, speaking of the MCU, this is a perfect transition because John Krasinski has met with Marvel Studios a couple days ago about an upcoming Marvel Studios film. And many people are saying, Fantastic Four, Fantastic Four, Fantastic Four, Fantastic Four. And other people are saying other projects. I have no idea. But
Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl. So John Krasinski has been highly talked about by people saying, I want John Krasinski in Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic, Emily Blunt, Invisible Woman. And now he's talking with Kevin Feige in Marvel Studios. So, Jared, let's talk about this, man. What's your thoughts on this news?
I mean, the fact that he took a meeting, it's like cool. Everyone takes meetings, but it for the last few years, it's like okay, these are a real life couple. They're perfect. They look like the characters. Just do it. And obviously, with this Phase 4, everyone's like, "Oh, Phase 4, Fantastic Four." It's Fantastic Four or it's the X-Men. The X-Men, I feel like, is too soon. It's probably going to be the Fantastic Four, but I guess my thing is like, aside from him, what other property is he going in for? And two, who else would be Mr. Fantastic? Like, can you fan cast a different person?
I actually did a video on this, fan casting the Fantastic Four, and I had some other options in there that are fine. I tried to not go the
Bill
actual
Hader,
route.
bro. Bill Hader. That's a
I
sleeper.
said John Hamm. John Hamm. Yeah. I also had Jason Bateman in that video. Colin, I know you're a huge fan of Jason Bateman.
Yeah, he'd be. He's. I don't know if I could picture him, but I actually think Bill Hader would be a really dope Mr. Fantastic. But the obvious pick is John Krasinski. That's just the obvious pick. It makes too much sense.
Yeah.
You know, another thing we're not talking about is John Krasinski directs movies too. So
Yeah.
what if he starred in a Fantastic Four and directed it and had his wife, who, oh, by the way, he's directed his wife in a movie and they've starred in a movie together and he's done all those things. And Marvel loves picking these like directors that have done like creative, kind of more niche projects in A Quiet Place. It wasn't like an indie or anything like that. It was but it was kind of more of a really unique and fresh idea that came in Hollywood back in 2018, became a smash hit. That's the type of directors Marvel likes to hire, these kind of up and comers in the directing world, and let them work their magic in a big blockbuster film. And John Krasinski is that dude, not just to star as Mr. Fantastic, but I think he could direct it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With A
Yeah.
Quiet Place, he did like again for the first showing, he did fantastic, and no pun intended, fantastic on that film. Now that you say that though, Colin, I would love if he is meeting not for a role but for a movie to direct, because then it's like, what movie is it going to be?
Yeah. Yeah. Could it be what was coming out? Anyway, I think he will be I lost my train of thought there. So if it is the Fantastic Four, which is what everyone's predicting, I think that would be fantastic casting as well as fantastic directing. Because John Krasinski just seems like the guy who can play a superhero that doesn't look like a superhero, which is what Reed Richards is. You know, he's a really smart guy. He's a superhero as well, and he doesn't look like the flashiest out of all the superheroes, and that's John Krasinski. And
And well, he's
think
famous,
about it.
but he's not like too famous to play a superhero role. You know what I mean? He's got
Yeah.
that like distinguishable look, but he's not like if they put like I don't know Matt Damon or somebody like super big, that'd be or Brad Pitt. It's like okay, it's like too big of a star to be playing a
Mhm.
superhero. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Especially one that's going to be the lead role. We've seen like A-list stars certainly in the MCU. Don't get me wrong, but I think John Krasinski just like literally checks all the boxes for what would be a great Mr. Fantastic. Being kind of older, but maybe not too old, or at least he doesn't look very old. He looks good for his age. So I just think it just hits on all and everything for great Mr. Fantastic. If that's what they're meeting for, great. If not, if it's some sort of directing thing, also great because we know he's a great director as well.
Think about it. John Krasinski was going to be Captain America, but it went to Chris Evans. Emily Blunt was going to be Black Widow, but it went to Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah,
That's a
great
fun
point.
fact. Yeah,
the
and that
MCU would be very different.
very different than it is right now. So anyway, this is very exciting news. Just the fact that he met with Marvel Studios is just already a key holder there that it could be the Fantastic Four. But if it's something else, I'm very excited regardless because John Krasinski is a very talented director as well as an actor as well. And I'm excited to see what he actually does. So anyway, that's all the movie news discussions we wanted to talk with you guys about. Those were some big discussions right there. Anyway, let's get to our next topic that we do every single week, me and Colin and Jared as well. We're going to do our most underrated and overrated picks of the week. Uh, Underrated and overrated movie picks of the week. Me and Colin, we pick a movie we feel is underrated and overrated every single week, and we have a nice discussion about it. Jared, you have an underrated and overrated pick, right?
That is correct. But do I
Yeah.
have to go first?
Yeah. You want to go first?
No, one of you guys go, please.
Okay, I'll go first since.
What just
Okay.
happened?
I don't know. I had a brain aneurysm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh.
All right, I'll go first. I'll go first, and just show Jared how we do this. Let's start with the overrated pick this week. My overrated pick of the week is Blade Runner, 1982 classic from Ridley Scott. I talked about this film in a review with Jay Vaders, and I watched Blade Runner a couple times, and I just don't love it like a majority of the audiences do. And I'm pretty sure I'm not alone. I'm sure a lot of people
No,
don't
you're
love
not alone. You're not
yeah,
alone at all.
don't love Blade Runner as much as Blade Runner 2049. That's one of my favorite films of all time, Blade Runner 2049. Just, I feel the first Blade Runner with Ridley Scott, just, it talks a lot about the sci fi world and replicants as well. And Harrison Ford as Rick Deckard. There's many different cuts of the film. And each cut, the first two were really boring. The theatrical cut was god awful. And then the director's cut was eh. And then the final cut is the best one according to a lot of people, but I just don't love the film all around. The messages of sci-fi and robotics and humans and just didn't really hit me the way Denis Villeneuve did with 2049. I think 2049 has more human and emotion more to it than the original does, as well as just the technical aspects. I think the technical aspects in both films are great, but I just connected more with the story in 2049 than in the original film. Not an awful film in any ways. I just don't love it like some major passionate fans do.
Yeah.
Jared, what's your overrated pick, buddy?
My overrated. Well, going back to your whole Blade Runner, yeah, I totally agree. I have no idea what cut I've watched and whatnot. So that's what really confused me and almost turned me off because people are like, oh, you watched the wrong version. Well, why is there that version if that's the wrong version?
Exactly.
Why is there so many versions?
Yeah, I don't know. You tell
At
me.
least Star Wars is like, okay, like those don't exist anymore. Like this is the version, and that's the only one you can ever watch. Like Blade Runner is like allowing you to watch like all these different versions.
Three
Yeah,
versions.
yeah. I don't know. It's bonkers. Someone please write in and clarify it for us.
Somebody will comment that you should have watched this version, not this version, you idiot.
Yeah, but it's not like over up in the top left corner. It's like this is version 2. Like
Version 2.
you don't know.
Yeah,
Okay. So we're doing overrated, correct?
overrated. Yeah.
Okay, so mine is 2008's Slumdog Millionaire. Now,
Ooh.
my understanding is that this won a few Oscars, if I am correct. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but
Okay.
this movie, I don't feel like it did anything groundbreaking. Like, I've seen this format. What's up?
I think it won Best Picture. It won
Oh,
Best
it did.
Picture. I
Okay,
know that.
okay. So yeah, apparently it was known or people agreed this was the best movie that year. I don't know. I guess I've only seen it once. I'd seen multiple like clips here or there. I'd never sat down and actually watched it. And then a few years ago I did. And I understand it's this kid and the story and there's hardships and every question he answers, he's almost having this flashback to something that happened in his life.
Yeah, but that was kind of gimmicky though. I didn't like that.
Well, and see that I feel like maybe that's what I'm getting at is gimmicky is like this is the story now flashback and again
Like
maybe in
every
two,
question just happened to relate to his story. You know what I
yeah
mean?
yeah it's like oh wow these questions are made for me because this is my life. um I mean 2008 maybe this format I don't know it's a thing where some movies age unfortunately not well because it's like, oh, it's been done before now, even though this was the first one that did it. I don't know. It's just there's something about it that I remember back in high school. Everyone talked about this movie. They're like, "Oh, I watched this movie," and this the only part that I actually remember is him like falling or hiding in a outhouse and there's poop everywhere. Like that's the only part I remember.
Yeah, I actually agree. I actually agree. Slumdog Millionaire is overrated. It was nominated for 10 Oscars and it won 8. It won
Holy
eight
God!
eight
Crap.
Holy
Oscars.
crap! I
Yeah,
didn't know
I know
that.
Death
That's
Patel won an
insane. You
Oscar.
took
Yeah.
to me, I actually I bought it on Blu-ray, and my girlfriend had nothing but fantastic things to say about it. And we watched probably the first hour, and I got tired and I fell asleep, and then I haven't watched it since. I did enjoy the story, but I thought like it was a little gimmicky with the fact that like every question just, oh, this is why he knew that answer because he had this exact moment in his life, and it was just like, okay, like it's not, that's just very coincidental. However, I thought the scenes that when they went back in his childhood and everything, it was who's the guy that directed
Danny Boyle.
127 hours. Yeah, Danny Boyle and Yesterday. Yeah, he's directed a bunch of movies, but Danny Boyle directed it, so I think it is well directed and stuff. I probably don't dislike it as much as you do, Jared, but and plus I haven't seen the whole thing, so I can't really comment on it. But it
Yeah,
was a
you saw
little.
one
It
hour, then
was a
you're like,
little.
you're good.
Well, it was a little gimmicky with the whole like, oh, this question that he's answering is this is how he became a millionaire, and this is why he got it right because I don't know, it was a little, yeah, it was gimmicky a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, everybody wanted Danny Boyle to direct Bond 25, and I'm like, I think there's better choices than that. Slumdog Millionaire, it's not an awful movie. I need to rewatch it again, but still, it's not that great.
Well, Danny Boyle's actually filmed last year, Yesterday. I was really
Yesterday,
disappointed with that. Yeah, I didn't
yeah,
like
that was
Yesterday.
very disappointing. I agree.
Yeah, like such a great premise and completely missed the mark in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Ed Sheeran was in that. Yeah. So anyway, so now let's go to our we didn't get your overrated pick yet, Colin. What's your overrated pick?
Oh yeah, that's right. I almost forgot about it too. So yeah, yeah, we're talking about like I guess mine's Slumdog Millionaire too. No, it's not. So this is a 2019 movie. I've tried it this whole segment. I try and stay away from two recent films. It's kind of hard not to because like this is I've recently just like I've
It's
loved
fresh.
movies my whole life, but I've recently watched like everything like pretty much a lot of movies in every single year recently. So this is last year's 2019 film. It was a comedy everyone loved. A lot of people had it in their top 10 list. I watched your review on it, Ryan, in preparation for this reveal, and that is Booksmart. I do not like Booksmart.
You're not
Um,
alone. You're not
I,
alone. Actually.
I don't think it's funny and any like that's the problem is like I think it's a well-directed movie. I think Olivia Wilde did some really unique and cool things with Booksmart. That whole scene where they turn into like Barbie dolls is really cool, well directed, and there are some funny like gags, but I felt like the characters to me, I didn't find them overwhelmingly likable. Like to me, like it was kind of marketed as like a girl's version of Superbad. And if you know me, Superbad's like top 10 favorite film of all time. I love Superbad, and it just didn't do any. It wasn't nearly as good. And like that's my biggest. Like I'm pretty easy on comedy. Like if you can do pretty much everything wrong in a comedy is, and if you're funny, I can basically forgive all that thing. This one did almost everything right in the sense that like it was well directed, but it just wasn't funny to me. Like I did not find any of the jokes funny. Couple that with one of my worst theater experiences ever, where the fire alarm went off in the middle of the movie, and we had to leave, and we had to leave. We had to come back in, and the lights were still flashing in my eyes, so I couldn't even focus. It was still flashing for about 10 minutes of the movie, even though it was like we weren't on fire. We were fine, and so we weren't on fire, and I was watching in the movie, and it just bummed me out. Like so pumped to see the movie. I wanted to love it so bad because I was liked everything behind it. I thought the trailers looked good. Really disappointed film. What's you guys' take on it?
I actually loved Booksmart. I actually only seen it once. I have the Blu-ray, so I can rewatch it again. I disagree. I think the movie is funny in a lot of terms. I really loved Catelyn Deaver and Jonah Hill's sister. What was her name again? I forgot her
Beanie
name.
Feldstein.
Not her, not her. Jonah Hill's sister. Forgot her
That's
name.
that's her name.
What?
Beanie Feldstein.
Oh, Beanie Feldstein.
Yeah.
Okay, I have. I really like their performances. I actually really like them as a duo. I loved Olivia Wilde's direction in there. I thought it was a really clever comedy in there, and I need to rewatch the movie again. But as far as like a high school type of comedy, I feel your vibes on Superbad, definitely a female version of Superbad. It totally worked for me. I just need to rewatch the movie again. Jared, what was your take on Booksmart?
I did enjoy it. So, Colin, a poo on you. Um, it is. I will say what you're saying. It definitely clicks where it's like, oh, this is the female version of Booksmart. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna. I mean, not Booksmart. Super bad. I'm not gonna take it away from that, but I loved kind of the different weird things, almost updating it. And again, I'm far from out of high school, so I don't know if that's the stereotypes or if they took borderline stereotypes and completely cranked them up to these drastic weird levels where it's those theater kids that are over the top, the jock that's somehow the class president.
That was my biggest problem too. It's like, yeah, I have the exact same take.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. Again, they maybe like cranked it up to a comedic level. I wouldn't say that it's like entirely laugh out loud humor. Like Good Boys, I had way more of laughter from because I feel like that's kind of my sense of comedy or humor. But I did thoroughly enjoy that film, especially Gigi. What's her name in real life? I don't know. I can't think of it. But the girl that keeps popping up everywhere. I died from her.
Oh, I forgot her name too, but she was really
It's
funny in the film as
it's
well.
Carrie Fisher's daughter.
Carrie Fisher's daughter. Yeah, I forgot her name though.
She's actually a good actress. I actually do like her. Yeah.
Yeah, she was in the
Billy Lord.
Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker too, wasn't she?
That is correct.
Yeah, I've seen her before. I'm like, yeah, she's in those movies as well. So yeah, we totally disagree with Colin on that one. Anyway, let's go to underrated as well.
Yeah, boo.
Yeah, boo. Anyway, now let's go to underrated. Underrated. My underrated pick is The School of Rock.
Oh, damn right, man.
Yes!
Damn
Let's
right.
go! Yeah.
Did you have that as well, Colin?
Bro. No, it
No.
was so close though. Dude, the
School-
School of Rock, bro.
School
I
of
love you
Rock
right now, dude.
rocks.
I love you
Yeah,
right now.
this movie's so underrated. Richard Linklater, the director that did Boyhood in the Before trilogy, with Jack Black and the School of Rock. This movie's awesome. I love this movie. I need to actually review this movie during the quarantine. This movie's so
We should review it
goddamn
together.
hilarious.
We should review it together.
Let's collab on that, Colin, you and me.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll do 100% do it.
Yeah,
Done deal.
School of Rock. Dewey Finn, Jack Black, basically, is this down luck on a band member, and he has no job, and so he takes his roommate's teaching job. You could totally relate to this movie, Colin, being a teacher. Anyway, is a substitute teacher for this school, and he teaches the kids, doesn't teach them anything school related, just teaches them to be in a band, and they basically are in this band competing in this contest. And this movie's hilarious. I think this is one of my
so funny, dude.
if you actually what's
So
one of my favorite comedies, this is one of my favorite comedies. I think this movie's so freaking hilarious.
My God, it's so great,
It's
dude.
so-
I'm so glad. I'm so proud of you, Ryan. I'm so proud of you.
Say so. What were the couple of the jokes in this movie? You're tacky.
I love the one. You're attacking the one where he's like,
you're fat and you
the
have
one-
body odor.
You can't wear a bow tie.
Yeah, he's like, don't tell him about that.
Why,
I love the one where he's like,
Shut up! You're an idiot. That's it, really. See, I actually rewatched the movie.
the one where it's like, he's like, I'm hungover. Does anybody know what that means? He's like, doesn't that mean you were drunk? He's like, no, it means I was drunk yesterday.
Yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. You. All right. First thing, who's got food in here? You. What you got? Yeah. The School of Rock. That movie
is so great, so quotable.
Such a great movie. Anyway, Jared, what's your underrated pick?
Yeah, School of Rock, top notch, man. My underrated. I doubt either of you guys have seen this one. It's 1995's Hackers. Yes, no.
Never even heard of it.
Never even heard of it. Ryan?
Crickets.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. This must have been a movie that was on TV growing up that I just watched constantly, and it's burned into my mind. 1995, like it has a very young Angelina Jolie in it. It has a young Matthew Lillard, Jesse Bradford, Johnny Lee Miller. I don't know, some of those people that kind of were like 90s stars. But it's just these kids that straight up 90s, like rollerblading everywhere. They're hack the planet. The portrayal or how they show hacking on the screen in 1995 is completely ridiculous. The soundtrack is really like pure 90s kind of like, I don't know, it brings back, it's nostalgic, and everything about it, and again, it could have been a product of the time, but I adore this movie. I watched it like once a month, to be honest, and it's goofy, it's weird, it's like a quick 90 minutes. The soundtrack, pure 90s. I don't know, I enjoy it.
That's a great pick. This is why we do underrated movie pick of the week, because I've never heard of that movie, and you convinced me to watch it, Jared. Good job.
I'm pretty sure it's playing on YouTube for free.
That's awesome.
Oh,
all right,
nice.
I'll have to go check.
I'll text you.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Colin, what's your underrated pick, man? Because I know you think it's the School of Rock.
Yeah, dude, mine's that's just got me pumped, man. I'm just like, School of Rock is like my childhood, dude. I was like, grew up watching it so much. So funny, dude. Oh my God, dude, so funny. All right, my underrated pick is funny. We kind of went a lot of comedies this time. My obviously my overrated was a comedy, but my underrated is also a comedy. It is I Love You, Man with Paul Rudd and
Damn
Jason
right.
Segel. Have you guys seen it?
Damn right.
I have seen
What
that.
do you think, Ryan?
What's that?
Did you not like it?
Oh no, I love it. Like damn right, yeah. Like that is a great pick.
Great pick.
Okay,
Great
so
pick.
yeah, okay. Well, no, I was talking to Ryan because Ryan went so I wasn't sure if he was like disagreed or not.
No, I agree,
dude,
man. That's a great pick.
I thought you were like judging me or something.
Like the
I don't know
judge.
about that one. Yeah. So that was another underrated pick, The Judge, a couple weeks ago. But anyway, so I Love You Man is a movie I will always relate to because if you guys haven't seen, if you're listening, you haven't seen the movie, it's about a guy who Paul Rudd. First of all, the cast is great. You got Paul Rudd, Jason Segel, who's the girl, Rashida Jones,
Oh yeah.
J.K. Simmons is in the movie, Andy Samberg, John Favreau, a skinny John Favreau is in this movie. So dope.
Yeah.
So really great cast, but it's basically about a guy who gets engaged and he's has his girlfriend or his fiance has a bunch of like girlfriends, like chicks that she hangs out with, and he doesn't really have like a dude friend. He's had girlfriends his entire life. They even say that he went from one girl to another. He and Jason Segel called it vag hopping. So, so he and I can relate to it because I dated a girl in 8th through 10th grade, and then we broke up for like a couple months, and then I met the girl I'm dating now, and I've been dating her for 5 years. You know what I mean? So like,
Mhm.
I've pretty much ever since I could date girls, I've dated a girl. So I've always had that thing where I've still been close with my friends, and I've obviously met a lot of great people through the YouTube space and become friends with some more people. And of course, my girlfriend has guy friends that I'm friends with and stuff. So it's been not as bad as Paul Rudd's experience, but it's so funny. He was like going on dates with guys, trying to get to know them, and then the whole like thing with Jason Segel's character, who's so funny, and they're like just their rapport between each other, and like the whole bits of like them like when they fight, it's almost like they're breaking up, even though they're two straight men. It's so funny. I'm like, I swear, like I watched it the other day. It's kind of become a tradition for me to watch the underrated movie pick of the week. I've been doing it like I did watch Logan Lucky last week. I watched The Judge the week before, and then the other day I watched I Love You Man, and dude, it's so good, bro. Such a good comedy, and yeah, that's my pick.
That
Awesome.
movie is
That's yeah,
so
super underrated.
quotable, so quotable.
I agree. So that's a great pick, Colin. Anyway, that's our underrated, overrated pick of the week. We look forward to doing that every single week, just revealing our picks. So great picks by all of us. Yay!
I will see
All
you
right.
then, or I
Yeah.
will see you another time. I'm very confused. Does that mean you're gonna
What's
come over
up?
or not?
Yeah. Anyway,
What did he say? He's like, "What's up, pistol?" And then he's like, "What's up, Jabron?" or something like that. I
Yeah,
don't even know
yeah.
what he called him.
Oh God. Oh. Go on. I'm gonna forget. I don't know it.
anyway, guys, let's go to our next topic. This is my favorite portion to do is answering our fans' questions. We got a lot of questions this week. We want to thank you guys so much for submitting all those questions, and I want to answer all of them. Are you guys ready?
Oh yeah. Question
There's just
time.
some
Yeah,
awesome
speed
questions.
round, speed round.
Yeah, these are some awesome questions right here. We're gonna answer them speed round. So let's go to Twitter first and answer Jacoby Porter's questions. He asked 3 questions. This is both a TV and movie question. What are some of your favorite childhood shows and movies growing up? Pretty simple question. Uh, what were some shows I watched? I watched the Rugrats growing up. I watched SpongeBob growing up, Fairly Odd Parents, and some movies growing up. I watched Toy Story, pretty much the first 2. Lion King, Aladdin, pretty much anything Disney, Pixar, and Rugrats. Any Nickelodeon show that's a cartoon you can think of is what I watched growing up. Colin?
Oh God, I watched everything. You mentioned pretty much everything you mentioned. And then I love Drake and Josh. I think Drake and Josh still holds up today. I still think it's hilarious. And then I actually
Drake and
watch
Josh,
shows that I
yeah.
watched. Yeah, Drake and Josh is so good. And then a show that I still watch to this day on Disney Plus is The Sweet Life on Deck, dude. That show's
Yeah.
funny to
Oh,
me.
Sweet Life
So,
I
so
on
like.
good.
Deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually prefer Sweet Life on Deck over the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody because they're just older. So I feel weird watching a bunch of like 8-year-old kids as opposed to, 13, 14-year-old. Or no,
I
they're
think
probably
Lee's
a
great, but
little
okay.
older than that. But yeah, they're probably a little older than that. But I probably should feel weird watching either one, honestly. I shouldn't
Hey, please
I
cut this
shouldn't
part of
watch
the
either.
podcast.
Jared?
Yeah, cut this part out.
Yeah, Ryan. I feel like kind of like cartoon wise, I was very much like during the summers, I remember binge watching SpongeBob, and then like 3 or 4 o'clock Pokemon would come on. So those two animated, but then like a little older, like Disney, the actual like live action stuff where like Smart Guy and Boy Meets World, stuff like that. But then movies, a lot of like 90s Disney movies, not like, there's the Toy Stories and stuff like that, but I was more of like Blank Check or The Heavyweights or The Big Green, Little Giants. Like it was a lot of those kind of movies.
Yeah, I feel that would be more.
Have you guys? Do you guys? I believe we're all in our 20s. I'm assuming, but like I'm pretty sure we all woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and George Lopez was playing. I all know.
Yes.
I know that was happening.
Yes.
There.
George Lopez. I love it. All right. Second question. What are two actors you would want to see work together? For me, he'd like to see Ryan Reynolds and Margot Robbie do a movie together. Colin?
Ooh, that's a great pick. All right, I'm gonna go. Jake Gyllenhaal is my favorite actor, so I'll pick something with him. Jake Gyllenhaal and The Rock in a freaking buddy cop action movie. Boom.
Oh yeah.
That's the pick.
Boom.
That'd be awesome. I feel like
and Jake Gyllenhaal plays the comedic relief.
I got one. The Rock and Will Smith in a buddy cop movie.
that'd be
dope.
You know what? Wait, that's probably like Hobbs and Shaw #3. Just wait for it.
Yeah, they kill off Shaw.
Two heavy personalities, and Will Smith becomes the new Shaw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jared?
I don't know. I'm gonna kind of combine two of your guys's. I love Ryan Reynolds because he is so quick, witty, all that stuff, and I'm gonna throw him in with Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't know if they've ever been in a movie together, but I feel like those two are really good friends.
Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah.
They were in Life. Did you see the movie Life?
You mean the Venom prequel?
Yeah, the Venom prequel. They were.
That would have been such great marketing if that would have been a Venom prequel.
Yeah, that movie.
Just imagine the post-credit scene, and you just see Tom Hardy, and he's just like at the reading a Daily Bugle paper or something, dude. That'd be so.
God, that would have been so sick.
Awesome. So awesome.
What could have been?
And he also asked favorite guilty pleasure movie. Pretty easy for me. My favorite guilty pleasure movie. It was pretty much the Fast and Furious movies, like the bad ones, like Colin. I think
I love Fast and Furious.
I think the fourth one or the third one, I'd say probably my favorite guilty pleasure movie.
For Fast and Furious?
Tokyo Drift.
Oh, okay, yeah. There we go.
That's definitely a guilty pleasure.
Because at first I was like, number 4. 4 is one that just disappears from my mind, but Tokyo Drift, top notch.
Yeah, that's a good one. Jared, do you have a favorite guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure. I actually sent this question and joked about it. Or you mentioned something on Twitter. I don't know. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Like, comic book or graphic novel based on the one movie that is, I guess, the one that stopped Sean Connery from acting. But I don't know. I think I grew up with it, watching it on FX every single weekend. And I love that movie. It's so bad, it's good.
So bad, it's good. Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jacoby Porter, for sending that. Daniel Barrios also.
I was gonna say mine's Mean Girls, bro. I actually like
Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Girls. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a very quotable movie as well.
Daniel Barrios on Twitter, he asked, "You can only ever watch 1/4 of Tenet or 3/4 of Dune today. What do you pick?" Dune, easy. I just want to see Dune right now. Give Dune to me now.
Oh, Dune, 100% Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially after those sexy photos. I need to see this movie, you know?
I mean, also, if you're just looking at percentage-wise, it's like, yeah, I'm going to watch the one that has more content. Plus, if you went to, I don't know what IMAX showing it was, but you almost got to see 1/4 of Tenet. I mean, it was like 15 minutes, but still, that's a decent part of the movie.
Yeah, if you went to go see Rise of Skywalker in IMAX.
Yeah, there we go.
You got to see the first 10 minutes of Tenet. So that movie looks great, too. I love that scene. So anyway, yeah, Dune. I would see Dune right now. So thank you, Daniel, for sending that. Now let's go to the YouTube questions from Spongy on YouTube. Do you think this year's Oscars will have 3 movies in each category instead of 5? I don't think the Oscars are happening this year. They're not
Oh,
happening.
really? That's what you're thinking?
I think they're gonna have. I don't think they're happening.
No, I think they'll have 5. I think they'll be fine.
I think, again, this is a conversation that's been up. I've asked multiple people. I've talked with friends. I think it's still going to be on. They're still going to have the 5 because if you think probably 75% of the nominees usually come from November and December. It depends. I will say, disclaimer here, it depends if movie theaters actually open when they say they're going to in like July or whatever. If it screws up November and December, Ryan, I'm 100% with you. They are not having them, or they're going to somehow postpone them.
Yeah, somebody said they'll probably, if this continues on, they'll probably combine 2020, 2021 for Oscars.
I could see that then. And then if they did that, would you guys want to see, like, instead of 5, have it be moved to 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see that.
No.
Oh.
Why, Colin? Why, Colin?
Yeah, why? Tell us.
Why?
Because then the the Oscars is already too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a point.
opinion.
You got a point. Yeah.
Well, it's because of all I don't know. Just move it along, people. Let's go.
Yeah, that's been one of their issues. Thank you, Spongy. Falcon B, he says, what's your guys' favorite and least favorite Mission Impossible movies? So, Falcon, I actually have a ranking for this on my channel, so you can go check that out. Just throwing it out there. My favorite's obviously Fallout. I'm sure that's your guys' favorite as well. If not, my least favorite is definitely Mission Impossible 2. Jared?
Yeah, I feel like 2 is the one that just feels like it doesn't belong. I haven't watched it since years ago. Is Fallout the newest one with the mustache?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that one I watched the other day. My God, it is phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. Yeah.
But almost this weird nostalgia. Again, I love Fallout. A nostalgia one is the first one because that one like takes me to a time and place.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Colin?
Same one. Keep it quick.
Yep. Zachary, which actor would you want to be president? The Rock, easy. Or Will Smith?
I mean, The Rock, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. We live in weird times.
Okay, so I'm a libertarian, so I don't like the government. So Ryan Reynolds, his roles that he plays, where he's super like nonchalant about everything. He's like super like too cool for school. I want a president that doesn't want to be there. That's like my thing. I like presidents that don't want to be president, and Ryan Reynolds looks like he wouldn't want to be president. So that'd be my pick.
Dude, give it like 20 years and that will happen.
Yeah, please make that happen. Marvel Fanboy on 2004. How would you predict the new release dates for the New Mutants, Scoob, Artemis Fowl? Great. Artemis Fowl does have a release date, Marvel Fanboy. It's June 5th or 12th, but it does have a release date in June. Greyhound, never heard of that. And In the Heights. I think In the Heights is going next year.
Is that the musical one?
The musical, yeah. Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, I feel like that one will get pushed. I mean, musicals tend to do very well around Thanksgiving, Christmas, so I feel like that could be pushed to then.
West Side
The Greatest Showman.
Yeah, damn right, man.
West Side Story is coming out in December, so that's going next year. New Mutants, just don't release it if you're not going to. I really don't know about any.
I want New Mutants to keep teasing me until I'm like 47 years old and then finally come out.
What are your most controversial, unpopular opinions on movies? We talked about these, I think, other episodes. What's your anticipated movie of 2021? That's probably a video I'll do in the future. But what's coming out in 2021? I think
every movie that didn't come out this
year. Yeah, Batman. Pretty much
the Batman, probably.
If Batman doesn't get delayed, then Batman. Do you think Godzilla vs. Kong will be delayed? It's definitely getting delayed. Yeah, it's definitely getting delayed, without a doubt.
100%.
Nicholas Lloyd, favorite war movie. For me, it's I did my favorite movies of all time video. Saving Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, same.
This means war.
This means war. Great choice. Great choice. Do you think Matthew Anselon? Do you think No Time to Die's November release date helps its Oscar chances? Yeah, yeah, it does.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah,
One,
especially for Billie Eilish.
yeah, 1000%.
Mm-hmm. Patrick Preston, my cousin. What's the worst movie to ever win Best Picture? Crash.
Ooh, I wish I had this question before so I
Slumdog
could have looked it
Millionaire.
up.
Crash or Green Book? I don't know. I actually
The thing
like
is,
Green.
yeah, if you look back at all of the Best Picture winners, none of them you even remember because that was it. Like, I know another one, The English Patient.
English Patient. Yeah. Yeah.
Never seen it. I just know that it won.
I haven't seen. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen a whole lot of Best Picture winners. Probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If
I
I'm
love.
being honest.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of fit a
I think
template.
Crash.
They're not that fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Samuel One World. He asked any movies you've changed your opinion on completely. I've changed my opinion completely on what was it?
The Rise of
Suicide Squad.
Skywalker.
Oh yeah, Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, I do not like that movie one bit. Anyway, so that was our questions. Thank you guys. Jared, did you have any?
Again, I'd have to look back. I know that a lot of the times I'm like, oh, I should have gave it a point 0.5 more or a point 0.5 less. I don't think there's anything that's drastic like that was complete crap or that was amazing.
I recently watched the Gift with Jason Bateman.
Ooh,
I loved that movie when I first saw it, and then
yeah.
I rewatched it recently. And the wife, the girl that she's in Iron Man 3, she's the wife in the Gift, but
Rebecca
she's like
Black.
yeah,
Rebecca
Rebecca
Hall.
Black,
Rebecca Hall.
Rebecca Hall. She
Hall.
Rebecca
is
Black.
Sean Black and
Friday.
Rebecca.
Shane Black's wife.
Friday, we gotta get up on
Down on
Friday, whatever it was.
Friday.
Anyway, yeah, The Gift was a movie I saw recently, and I was like, this is her character, Rebecca Hall's character, is so horribly written. She's so annoying the entire movie. Like they could easily end this whole situation that they're in if she just stopped letting him in her house, but
Yeah.
she's just so stupid. She's such a horribly written character. I love I saw it a couple times and I loved it, and then I saw it recently. I was like, this kind of sucks, honestly.
Oh, Rebecca, you so stupid.
You're so stupid. What's fine? Anyway, that's those were the answers to our questions. Thank you guys for submitting those questions. We ask you every single week to submit questions. We really episode. If you want your question to be featured, I always post on social media. So post it there and you'll be featured in our weekly segment. So now that wraps up the questions. Now let's go to I want to play a game. Our game we have here came up by Mr. Colin Williams. So Colin, you want to introduce this game?
Yeah, so this game is one I just kind of came off like we were like, first of all, I was like, yo, we should get Jared on the podcast. We got Jared on the podcast. And then he was like, Ryan was like, yo, we got Jared on the podcast. I'm like, yo, let's play a game. And he's like, all right. And then I'm like, okay. He's like, what game do you want to play? And I was like, and it just came up with that out of a limb. We're playing Boom or Bust, box office. I'm going to list 10 movies. Jared and Ryan are going to guess one. The first thing they're going to guess is how much money they think it made, ballpark. I'm not expecting you guys to nail it right on the head. And then I'll say a movie. You're going to say it made this much money and it was a boom or a bust. How I'm classifying a boom or a bust is if it made any sort of money. So like,
Is this
if a
total
movie
run?
Is this domestic or worldwide?
Worldwide. We're doing worldwide, and what we're gonna do is this is going to be like, let's say a movie cost 50 million to make and it made 70 million. That's even though it sounds like it made money, you have to factor in the marketing they put in. Yeah, you have to factor in the marketing, so it definitely lost money. So this isn't definitive 100% like, oh, it like lost X amount of money. It's just generally speaking, it was a bust, or genuinely speaking, it made money, or it was a boom, whatever we want to call it. So without further ado, gentlemen, do you just want to jump right into our first movie?
Let's do it.
Bring it on, man.
Okay, so the first movie I got on here, and Jared, I'll let you go first. Guessing how much you think it made, as well as is it a boom or a bust, and that is American Beauty, the 1999 film.
Oh, shoot. I want to say that this made 99 million, and it was a bust.
Okay, Ryan?
I think this made 125 million, and I'm also going to say it's a bust.
Okay, you guys are both horribly wrong.
Oh no.
This movie American Beauty made $356.3 million on a $15 million budget.
$15?
$15?
15 million. No,
Wow.
15 million.
Wow. I could buy a
How?
Chipotle
That's a
burrito with that.
How did it do that?
I don't know.
How?
It's crazy.
That's
But
crazy.
real talk, you guys were way off. 356 million, man. That
I was
that
doing
movie
after taxes.
Wasn't just
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, that's my first one. So you guys were wrong.
Okay,
that was great.
hey, we're getting a taste of it. We got this one, Ryan.
Yeah, we got it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, here's the next one. Hot Tub Time Machine. I'll let you go first, Ryan.
All right. I think this movie made, I'm gonna say 380 million, and I'm gonna say it was a success, a boom. Whatever.
All right, I'm saying
Jared.
I know that this has probably got more praise after the fact, but I'm gonna say this made 278 million, and it was a boom.
Boom. Boom.
Okay, again, you guys were dead wrong.
Oh my gosh, this probably made like $2.
What's
Hot
wrong
Tub
with us?
Time Machine. Hot Tub Time Machine made 64.6 million on a $36 million budget,
Oh my
and it was a
gosh.
bust.
Wow.
Wow.
I could buy 2 4K Blu-rays with that.
Oh.
There you go, man. Oh my goodness.
Okay, maybe we'll get
you
one
guys
of
let
these
me down.
right.
All right.
Come on, we're doing
All right.
awful. This is why I
Okay.
don't do box office prediction videos.
All right, here we go. Dallas Buyers Club.
I haven't
Dallas
seen
Buyers Club. It's okay if you haven't seen it. Dallas Buyers Club. Jared, you go first.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna say that this one made 95 million, and it was a boom.
All right.
Okay.
Matthew McConaughey won an Oscar for this film. I'm also going to say it made 90 million, and that it was a bust.
Okay, so Jared, congratulations. It was a boom, but it wasn't as much as you said it was. It made $55 million, but only on a $5 million budget.
Okay.
Okay.
So I consider that a win for
All
Jared.
right, we got 1 point, Ryan.
1 point. Let's get
All
2
right,
points.
this next one. Yeah, this next one comes from, I believe, the 2016 film, Tomorrowland. Ryan, you go first.
George Clooney, overrated actor for you, Colin. Tomorrowland, haven't seen it, didn't care. Brad Bird. I'm gonna say this was a huge bust. In that 50 million.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay. I saw this at a drive-in theater with my ex-girlfriend. I know it's a bust because that relationship didn't last. And it made oh god, I know it cost a ton of money. I want to say it was like 127 million.
Okay, so you guys are correct. It was a bust. It did make 209 million,
Oh, wow.
but on $180 million budget.
What? You write a check for that much?
Jesus.
Yeah. So it definitely lost money when you consider the
Have either of
marketing
you
it
guys
put
seen
in.
that?
Lost a lot of money, yeah.
Colin, have you seen that movie?
Part of it, not fully.
You fell asleep too during that one?
Mm.
Yeah.
This was the guy that did Incredibles and Iron Giant, right? Yeah.
All right, here's the next one. And Jared, you can go first. So, School of Rock, we just talked about it. That's when you said that. School of Rock.
All right, this one was a boom, but not by much. I want to say that it made like 223 million.
I'm gonna also say it was a boom. I'm gonna say 210 million.
All right, you guys are both right. It was a boom, but it made less than you were thinking. It made 131 million, but only on a $20 million budget.
Oh,
Ah,
okay.
nice.
Okay,
I
it's on,
see. That's
so
the
that
thing
one,
is, I'm not figuring out the fact. Oh, like $2,000, like 2000, the year 2000, the dollars were probably way less.
True.
Hmm.
True.
yeah. 2003 is when the film came out, I believe. All right, so the next one, Ryan, you can go first. Rain Man with Tom Cruise.
Rain Man, great film, great film. I'm gonna say this was a bust, and I think it made. I'm gonna say 93 million.
Wow, Ryan, you are close to what I wanted to guess. I'm going to say that this also was a bust. No. I'm going to say that this was a boom, but not by much, and it made 89 million.
Okay, so this movie made Rain Man made $354.8 million.
Oh my
Shut up.
God.
It
Saw it. Oh.
354.8 million, and guess how big the budget was?
$3.
$1.
$1.
I'd
Another
buy
day,
that
another
for a
day.
dollar.
Yeah, it was $25 million budget and made 354.8 million.
Jeez.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. All
Man,
right. Yeah, that you took a major L on that one.
this game
Uh,
We're
this game
taking
is
nothing
tough.
but L's.
well, Jared was technically right. He said it was a boom, but not by much. But it was
It was
by
by a
quite a lot.
lot. A
Mm.
lot.
So okay, our next one is a film we actually talked about earlier, but the older version. That's Dune 1984. Ryan, you're up.
Definitely a bust. 140 million.
Hmm. I know that
Okay.
I'm gonna say
Jared?
bust as well, but I'm gonna say it made like 178 million.
Okay, so you guys are right. It was a bust, but it only made 30.9 million on a $40 million budget.
What?
What?
Damn.
Oh God. Does that change your
It
idea?
basically broke even, almost broke
Does
even.
that change your idea that this new film is going to be a box office
No,
boom?
it doesn't because I think it's a completely different time. I
Okay.
think Denis Villeneuve's got clout. People are itching for a new like epic film franchise like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or something like that. It's got a great cast. I think if it markets it right, I mean we don't know how this film was marketed back in 1984. We weren't living back then, and the way the movies are consumed back now is opposed to then completely different. So that's my and plus Blade Runner, the first one didn't make a whole lot of money, and the second one, even though it didn't make a whole lot of money, it made way more than the first
hmm
one. It
Yeah.
didn't it didn't it wasn't a hit either, but it made way more than the first. Okay, next one, Jared, you can go first. Pop star never stop stopping.
Oh my God. Love this movie. A fantastic comedy. I know that it was a bust because no one saw the movie. Um, I want to say it made like 89 million.
I'm gonna say 75 million bust.
Okay, it was a bust, but it only made $9.7 million
What?
on a $20 million
What?
budget.
Wow.
$9 million.
That's
That's insane.
it.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
I
Okay.
need to watch that.
Next one. Ryan, you can go first.
Okay.
Juno.
Okay. Juno, great film.
Juno.
I'm gonna say this was a boom. I'm gonna say 320 million.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, the way it's been going, you're probably right. It is a boom, but I want to say I'm going to be more conservative here. I'm going to say like 111 million.
Okay, you guys are both right. It was boom. It made 231 million on a $7.5 million budget.
Okay. All
Wow.
right.
That
That's
is
insane.
That's
that
That's
is
just
a good
crazy.
movie.
movies like that. Yeah, movies like that don't usually make a lot of money. He got nominated for Best Picture though, so maybe that helped. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, last film. This is our final one. I haven't even been keeping track of it at this
We got to
point.
get this one right. We
But
got to get
No,
this
we
one.
got to do it. We got to nail it. We got to nail it.
okay, a film that I know I'm pretty. I don't know your opinion on it, Jared, but who doesn't love this movie? And Ryan, you can go first. That's Nightcrawler.
Ooh.
Amazing film. Amazing. Nightcrawler, I think this was definitely a bust. Nobody saw this movie. Um, well, us movie fans saw it. I'm gonna say it made 7 million.
Yeah, I know that this is a
Wow.
bust. Definitely a bust. Again, the same ex-girlfriend we went to this movie. It man, there's a whole
Jared's
time
ex-girlfriend.
there's a whole time period in my mind of like 2 to 3 years where it's just these movies remind me of this person. Definitely a bust. It made like 47 million.
Jared's ex-girlfriend.
Okay, so
Episode.
Jared, you were close on the number at 47 million. It made 50 million, but it's a boom because the
Whoa.
budget was 8.5. The budget was only 8.5
So even though
million.
no one really knows about that movie or saw it and it didn't get the notice, it still made money.
It
It still made
makes
money because of how, yeah, because let's say usually you put about double your production
Mhm.
budget into marketing. So let's say they put another, so you're looking at about like 17 million all in marketing and the production. They made 50. That's a
That's
boom,
pretty
man,
good, yeah.
especially for like a smaller
That's
studio.
definitely a
Yeah.
boom. Yeah.
So that's it. Thank you guys so much for playing, and that was really embarrassing for both of you.
We will study next time.
We'll study. We probably lost some subscribers.
Actually, I'm curious how many people are. Please in the comments let us know how many you got right.
Yes, please let us know on YouTube. Anyway, that was a fun little game. That was fun. We did awful, but it's some fun.
Yeah, you guys brought up some repressed memories for me, so thank you for that.
Yeah, and a lot of numbers I did not know. I really don't know nothing about box office numbers. Anyway, let's go to our next closing topic here before we close off the show, gentlemen. And it's another segment me and Colin do every week, Jared, and that is our movie quote of the week. So I'll have Colin start this one off, Jared, so you can see how we do this. Colin?
Okay, here we go, and I'm gonna use an accent this time. I'm doing an accent. All right, here we go.
Accent.
You guys
Okay.
ready?
Yeah.
All right, here I go. Here we go. Here it goes. All right. Evacuate the city. Engage all defenses and get this man a shield. Black Panther,
Shout out Black
Infinity
Panther.
War.
Oh, damn it. I didn't have the
And,
mask with
and
me.
oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, evacuate the city, engage all defenses, and get this man a shield.
No, you want it. No, this
Such
is
a
how
dope
you
line.
do it. This is how you do it, okay? Evacuate the city, engage all defenses, and get this man a shield.
Oh, your Wakandan accent is better than your Boston accent.
Yeah,
So
what happened?
Ryan's Wakanda accent is dope. Episode title, cringeworthy. Anyway, so here's my quote of the week. It's an in-depth one. It's a very powerful quote from a really good movie. I'm just gonna read it. We rip out so much of ourselves to be cured of things faster than we should that we go bankrupt by the age of 30 and have less to offer each time we start with someone new, but to feel nothing so as not to feel anything. What a waste. That is from Call Me By Your Name, from Michael Stuhlbarg, his really great monologue he has at the end of the film.
Still haven't seen that one.
Great quote.
It's getting a sequel, Call Me By Your Name, so I'm looking forward to that. Fantastic movie, and that was by far my favorite scene in the film was Michael Stuhlbarg's little monologue with Timothy Chalamet. So that's my quote. Jared, what's your quote?
All right, I got my quote. I'm channeling my inner inner artist here. All right, here we go. Goddamn brewery! You know I brew. No, hold on. Let me start over again. My bad. Goddamn brewery! You know that brewery brews 200 or 100. God damn it! Whatever. Goddamn brewery! You know that brewery makes 10,000 bottles of beer a day. I drink 45 of them, and I'm the asshole. That
What's
is from
that
Beer
from?
Fest.
Beer Fest.
Beer
I
Fest.
haven't seen that.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that was, I tried, guys. I tried.
Good job.
Twice. I got
Good job. You
tried.
tried.
Good job, Jared. You tried. You tried.
I did my best.
I need to be missed. Anyway, that's our show today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching episode 5 of the Fallen for Film podcast. We talked about some very exciting movie news that dropped, and we played an awesome game. And before we close out the show, I want to thank our special guest, Mr. Jared Buckendahl. If you guys do not know who Jared Buckendahl is and you aren't subscribed to his channel by now, what are you doing? This man has some fantastic, funny ass intros in his videos, and he also has a bunch of other stuff that he's going to tell you about right now. So, Jared, where can the peeps find you on the social media?
No, absolutely. Thank you, Ryan and Colin, for inviting me over. Again, this was very fun. I botched the ending, and you guys brought up a lot of fun stuff in this. You guys can follow me on YouTube at JBuck Studios. Otherwise, over on Instagram and Twitter at Jared Buckendahl. Over on my channel, again, it's movie-related content, just like these two guys. Movie reviews, trailer reactions, and then ridiculousness. And I do a live show every Tuesday called JBuck Live, where it's movie news, pre-recorded sketches, and a bunch of other fun stuff. But then kind of a series on my channel is called Ending Explained Poorly, where
Those are great.
I got fed up with the format of Ending Explained, so I kind of do my own format and kind of mocking it. So if you like those, check those out.
Yes, go watch the End and Explain Poorly videos Jared does. He does a great job on those. Anyway, Jared, what's coming up on your channel that maybe the viewers should know about?
I don't have my calendar handy. I know that every other Monday is a new podcast for my channel called Movies and Nonsense, which I'm gonna have to get both of you guys on in a future episode.
100%. I love that show.
Absolutely,
You did
100%.
great.
Yeah, we get off the rails on that one, but that is, I think, a new episode is coming this Monday, the 21st or something, or 20th, and then just kind of, if there's Netflix movies, I'm reviewing those. JBuck Live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Time. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know. I kind of just when something pops up, I do a video on it. I don't have much of a schedule.
Awesome. Yes, guys, please go subscribe to Jared. All his channel links are in the description below on the YouTube. So go check him out over there. Go follow him. Give him the love. Anyway, before we close out the show, Colin, you have any closing remarks? And also tell the viewers what's coming out on your channel this week. Boom.
Oh, nothing, man. Just on my channel, you can look up my name, Colin Williams. There's either me that looks like me and talks about movies, or there's another guy who plays like musical instruments. So click on my page; it's pretty dope. And yeah, and on that channel, on my channel, I got coming up. Got the top 30 favorite movies of all time, thanks to you and Austin Burke for inspiring me to do that one. I got my top 10 movie trilogies, and then by the time this podcast drops, like today, as we're recording this, my 5 streaming services ranked that I use ranked is coming out at 6:00 Eastern. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, it was a great podcast, Jared. Thanks for coming on.
No, thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Jared. And you guys know where you can find me. You're watching me on YouTube right now. For me coming out this week, look forward to another live stream this week. I definitely am planning to do, a little live Q&A every single week during this quarantine. So definitely come on over there. I don't know when, probably tomorrow. So definitely come on over the channel. And I also got a classic review coming out next week for a first-time watch, which is a new series I'm doing during this quarantine, where there's a really well-known film that I haven't seen yet, and that is for Schindler's List, Steven Spielberg's film about, the Holocaust. So look forward to my Schindler's List review, as well as the new Chris Hemsworth action film, Extraction, comes out next week. So look forward to my review on that. That's what's coming out not a big week, but that's what's coming out on my channel. And go check out my videos I just uploaded, my Game of Thrones ranking, as well as my top 30 favorite films of all time video. Those are up on the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching episode 5 of the Fallen for Film podcast. Again, go check out Jared. Subscribe to him. He deserves it. He is awesome. And guys, we'll see you in episode 6.